contains interviews from artists, scientific episode, but it's mostly music painted by artists in synesthetes. So their art got a funding award from Dana Foundation for Brain Research and the Federation of European Neuroscience Societies. We presented it last year at Trinity College Dublin during Brain Awareness Week. So synesthesia is a differently wired brain, and it gives different perceptual experience. So consciousness studies reveals that we perceive the world with our senses, so taste, smell, but when the senses overlap, the perception could be quite significantly different. So for example, the people who have synesthesia, they experience music or sound with colors or with tastes, or there's variety experience. There's 80 types registered, and as well as maybe so you don't know that simple experiences. You probably know someone who can't watch medical operations because their visual to tactile sense really wired so strongly that it gives them projection into the skin to watch actually the cuts of medical operation. So, and it's interesting, this type called mirror touch synesthesia, much higher empathy between those people. So scientists study this because sometimes synesthesia could be confused for hallucinations. I personally had experience when the mother of 7-year-old girl who plays violin and piano contacted me by my website to say that what should I do? She tells me that she sees this beautiful color. She spends like more than 1 hour practicing violin and piano. So what should I do? Should I bring her to doctor? This panicky experiences, no, synesthesia is actually quite positive trait. Yes, people could get overwhelmed emotionally sometimes because their senses overlap, but mostly synesthetes use their sensory experiences creatively, and that's what we documented in our augmented reality app, Journey Through the Senses. So yes, Haahr and Ramachandran, the neuroscientists, they looked at synesthesia as a window into perception, thought and language. And multisensory processing is very characteristic for the nature of our brain. There's as well studies taking synesthesia model for sensory substitution devices and nature shows there examples, for example, like Daniel Kishner, who lost his sight when he was 2 years old only, but he was still young enough so that his sensory wiring compensated and gave him, he clicks his tongue to produce this effect of echolocation like dolphins, to actually scan the environment, and he can navigate through this. So there's a big potential naturally present in the brain. There's discussions, so brain scans reveals it, so infant synesthesia till 24 months old baby. Then the brain goes through pruning process and hardwiring, so we get separation of the sensory modalities. So as a conclusion, it just so of this of our app, so to demonstrate those experiences, so people can recognize that perhaps they are synesthetes, or perhaps their children experience synesthesia, or friend, and as well as to learn about diversity of perceptions. So their studies as well could be interesting. The patterns, so how artists synesthetes paint music, they match in with Kluver's research on form constants when paintings under psychedelic states like psilocybin. So that's why big interest. So now I just show the video from the play experience, and there's a talk as well by leading researcher on synesthesia Jamie Ward. So you will see how. So we navigate by radar. Those buttons, that so we when in augmented reality view, so that we see the image, and it's a gallery. So we put the images into the frames. So then the casebook collects experiences and tells you what is it, what music, who performed it, the art, and that's the experience. So we have 15 episodes like this. So I just move forward a little bit because I want you to hear Jamie Ward talk. So it's like to find the next encounter, I have to walk a bit.
Sussex. People with synesthesia experience the ordinary world in remarkable ways. So some people, as they're listening to my voice, would have a constant ebb and flow of colours. For others, it might be like a dropper of taste projected onto their tongue. So we can think of synesthesia as being extra sensations that are tagged onto those that other people normally experience. So people with synesthesia don't just hear music, they might hear music and see it as well. So synesthesia seems rather weird, but if you have synesthesia, it seems perfectly normal. That's because our own reality is the one that we know.
So, yes, there's a link between synesthesia and creativity because it's based on linking seemingly unrelated concepts and ideas. So we have to say huge thanks to contributors to our experience, and they amazing people who did great contribution to synesthesia research. For example, like Carl Steen. So she's the president of American Synesthesia Association. Professor Maria José de Córdoba Serrana. She leads Artisita Synesthesia Association. Timothy Layden, who paints constantly my music. Min Hui Song, with whom we had collaboration and presented at Harvard University. He painted Ballade Chopin in my performance. James Vanderton, he has episode on Tastes of Kandinsky. And Jerry Haahr, hopefully I will show you this animation. She has 5 senses linked together. She's absolutely extraordinary experiences and very creative personality. So, yes, how I came to this research, it's through synesthete composer Scriabin, who was under, is he synesthete or pseudo-synesthete? So, but it's actually by analyzing his performance, I concluded that it's a musical space synesthesia. So when their perception separates musical layers and has individual dynamics in it. So this is Min Hui Song, how he shows his painting. That's so perception. So this is our experience for Brain Awareness Week when we started. And so this is the Shapes of Sound by Timothy Layden and Carl Steen. Art on Schumann Quintet. So these all experiences you can see in the app. So, but perhaps I do want to show you this episode. Just a second. So, because this I think is quite interesting. So this is collaboration between, I composed on Jerry Haahr, how she perceives and but not. So when I see art, I perceive it as a character, the patterns, visual patterns. So, and I wrote music, but then we came to her friend in Ramata College who is lecturing in animation, and we started to describe, and we do this, okay, you animate now our experience. And she said, guys, hold on, are you actually, I can see days and weeks in the space, so it creates like a spiral for me. So in many cases people don't realize, they think that what I see in my mind's eye, this is what you see, but the perceptual experience very different. So yes, I suppose I can finish now. So the conclusions is our app shares these experiences, individual experiences, and awareness of synesthesia with a gameplay AR. That's how we used augmented reality for educational purposes. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. Do you have any questions for Svetlana? It's just after.
Do you have also this synesthesia or not?
I use it, yes, I have musical space synesthesia. So, and it's greatly helping me in my performances. It's just natural assessment of time perception and dynamics. So, and I can teach my students if they start young. So, if they start at 12, it's nearly impossible. So, then it's just more logical perception and methodology. But with young children, they would do if they're curious. They not realizing what they use, what senses, and it's just they produce great results.
Interesting. We have a second question up here.
Yeah, like so usually for those with autism, we somehow will say that they have some kind of like extra perception as well. So do you think that this is like how is it related to people with
So,
autism?
for example, Sussex University did research and Jamie Bard. So he describes this autism, diversity of perceptions, autism, dyslexia, and synesthesia. So if autism and dyslexia give actually negative, so its condition has to be worked with. Synesthesia, it's a positive trait, which does not make you isolated from society, for example, like in autism, or it's just a different extra sensation what on the experience people get. And a lot of them use creatively. For example, like Messiaen composer Nabokov. So I would say it's like nearly like a genius gene, maybe. So because all synesthetes will say they would never change it or get rid of it. It's not possible, but they're very happy. It's like to be high, honestly. So, that's what I experienced by communicating with synesthetes. Yes.
Thank you.
One more question is the difference in genders. So maybe some gender has more.
No, there's no difference. As women and men have this, but there's genetic trait so that it's passed through generations. Okay, not necessarily from mother to son, but somehow it will be because it was researched by Amanda Tillett, who did literally globally. They did investigate how from family to family and how parents then. But what is interesting is that the experience is very subjective. So if the mother has synesthesia, the colors could be different. So and there's arguments in the family. Oh, I see this in blue. Yeah, but it's yellow for me. It's very individual.
Very interesting. How many percentage do you have that?
So from 4 till 6 now, it's actually uses statistics. More and more people discover just the overlap of senses. That for example before the most studied it's grapheme color synesthesia, chromesthesia, mirror touch probably, and gustatory, lexical gustatory. So when people perceive the sound of the words as tastes. Okay, this is the most studied types, but there's a lot of variations, and people realize, oh, I experience this with other senses rather than only the sound or only color. So it's more and more reports which contributes to percentage, like it's growing.
Yeah. So it's also a question about the awareness. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, then again, thank you for your very interesting paper.